The sky above the Ember Cliffs throbbed with a molten glow the night the Dragon Mother began to die. Her breath, once capable of bending storms, now came in thin, trembling waves that flickered like dying embers in the wind. She lay curled around her nest of 3 hatchlings small, glowing bundles of scales and warmth whose tiny chirps echoed with fear. Dragons, even the mightiest, were not immortal, and she had fought too many battles, burned too many skies, and survived too many wounds that should have ended her centuries ago. Now, her wind's vast crimson veils that once cast shadows over kingdoms lay limp against the stone. Her once piercing golden eyes grew dull as she pulled her hatchlings closer. The wind carried her quiet roar, a sound that was less a command and more a plea. At the base of the cliff, a lone human climbed with shaking limbs, pushing against the sharp stones and scorching heat that radiated from the dying dragon above. His name was Kale, a wanderer with no home and no tribe, known only for helping creatures no one else dared to approach. The hatchlings sensed him before he reached the peak, their voices rising in frightened, broken whimpers. Kale stepped onto the plateau and froze. The great dragon mother lifted her head, the effort carving deep pain into her massive body. Her eyes, though dimmed, locked onto him with something he couldn't understand at first trust. A creature worshipped, feared, and hunted across nations was looking at him as if he alone could decide the fate of her children. Kale slowly approached, hands empty, heart pounding. He had always believed dragons hated humans, and with reason. Humans had slain thousands, stealing scales and eggs and firestones, poisoning their rivers and burning their nests. Yet this colossal being watched him with hope instead of hatred. She lowered her head and breathed out a soft tremor of smoke that curled around him like a fragile ribbon. He realized then what she was asking. Protect them. Guide them. Raise them. The hatchlings crawled from beneath a wing, stumbling awkwardly toward him. Their eyes were wide and shimmering, one sapphire blue, one molten orange, one a strange, gentle green. Each gaze held something ancient yet newly born, and each gaze carried the same question their mother silently asked. Kale's throat tightened. He knew what this choice meant. If he accepted them, he would forever be marked as a guardian of dragons, hunted by kings, feared by cities, and chased by anyone who wanted dragon blood riches. But if he refused, the hatchlings would die before dawn. The dragon mother let out a final, rattling breath that shaped itself into a low, trembling growl. Kale placed his hand against her massive snout. "I'll protect him," he whispered. Her eyes closed peacefully as her body turned still. The ground trembled as her ancient spirit left the world, and the hatchlings let out cries that pierced the sky. Kale gathered them gently into his arms as they pressed against him, shaking. For the first time in centuries, the Ember Cliffs lost their guardian flame but gained something far stranger. A human who loved dragons. Life with the hatchlings was chaos. They grew fast, too fast. In a single month, they were the size of large dogs, knocking over trees and burning everything they sneezed on. Kale learned to feed them crushed gemstones, fresh water from volcanic springs, and smoked wild boar. He learned to calm their nightmares when they whimpered for a mother who no longer answered their cries. And as they grew, so did the bond between them. The sapphire hatchling, whom he named Syrah, became fiercely protective, circling him whenever danger neared. The orange one, Piran, was mischievous, always trying to set his boots on fire. The gentle green hatchling, Loom, preferred curling around Kale at night, humming in a soft, glowing rhythm that soothed them all. But the world noticed. Scouts spotted the young dragons soaring clumsily over forests, and rumors spread like lightning. Soon, kingdoms prepared armies. Believing the dragons posed a new threat, knights and hunters marched, seeking glory and gold. Kale realized he had to move the hatchlings to a safer place. The Starfall Mountains, where ancient dragons once lived among celestial storms. But reaching them meant crossing the human territories now hunting him. One moonless night, soldiers surrounded their camp. Kale shielded the hatchlings as arrows ignited the clearing. Sarah roared. Piran unleashed a ring of fire, and Loom's scales shone so brightly the soldiers staggered back in fear. But Kale didn't. Didn't you want bloodshed? He stepped forward, raising his hands, shouting for peace, but no one listened. A commander fired a bolt aimed at Sierra's heart. Without thinking, Kale leapt into its path. The impact slammed him to the ground. The hatchlings shrieked in terror as he lay bleeding, breaths shallow. Something ancient inside them awakened. Their eyes glowed with the same light their mother once held. They pressed their foreheads to Kale's chest, whispering soft, trembling sounds that weren't quite dragon and weren't quite human. A warm surge of power enveloped him, an energy older than mountains, born of celestial flame. The wound closed, his heartbeat steadied. Kale opened his eyes to find the soldiers staring in horror at the miracle. The hatchlings stood around him, not as helpless younglings, but as heirs of the dragon mother, glowing with a power that bent the very stars. Kale rose, placing a gentle hand on each of them. "No more fighting," he said, his voice echoing with a strange new strength. The soldiers dropped their weapons. Some fled. Others knelt. Word spread within days. A human had been chosen by dragons, blessed by their ancient power, and protected by their young heirs. No kingdom dared challenge him after that. With the path clear, Kale and the hatchlings reached the Starfall Mountains. There, under skies streaked with falling stars, the dragons grew to their destined glory. Kale remained by their side as friend, guardian, and family. And though he was only human, the choice he made on a dying dragon's cliffside echoed across the heavens. For from that day forward, every dragon who soared through the stars remembered the human who loved them enough to change fate itself.